Hey, my friend, happy Friday. Fantastic Friday. Emily Smiley here. Question for you in your business. Are you using stories, whether on Insta or Facebook? Are you using them to build your business? Hey, Linda, how are you? What's the weather like there? It's triple digits here. I'm super excited to share some tips. It's going to be pretty short and sweet and to the point and get back to our weekend. I just left the gym and we're going to hang out at the pool all afternoon. But I'm really excited to share this with you guys. I was kind of figuring out my Facebook stories and really just wanted to share the tips with you guys because I feel like I kind of learned from the best. I'm going to pass it along to y'all. So I hope you find it helpful. If you are just hopping on, I see you guys. Say hey, let me know where you're tuning in from. I always want to know, what's the weather there? Oh, it looks like rain, Linda. Okay. I would love some rain, not going to lie. If you are watching this on the replay, please put hashtag replay so I can follow up and get back to you guys. I got some value for you guys today. Okay, so Linda, we'll start with you since you commented. Are you using your stories to help build your business and is it effective? So I kind of want to touch a little bit on posting because I feel like it's changed. There's a lot of people using very outdated. And if you're building online on social media, you have got to know the algorithm. You've got to know what the new is, what the no is, right? So when I first started, years ago online on posting, it was, oh, you need to post like 8 or 10 times a day. Then it was 3 times a day. Then it was 2 times a day, right? And now basically, if you go back and watch my live, they're just saying like one main value post per day is much more likely to get people to see your stuff. Otherwise, you're literally competing against yourself. Yes, I try to, but need better content. Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a minute, Linda, so hang tight. So, all right, so your posts are your posts. You really want those to be seen. They're on your wall, they're on your timeline, whether you're building on a business page, in a group. Hopefully you're adding some content in a Facebook group and utilizing that because that is super effective, but we'll talk about that another day. Or even your personal, right? And you can link them. So if you are on Insta, right, you can actually link it so that it will also post, to Facebook, to your stories, so that you're not having to recreate that content, Linda, so that you only make it once and then you post it. Now I've linked different ones to different places, but I find that super effective. All right. The next thing I would say is, all right, so everything that you were posting in your post multiple times a day, I would say save that and chalk your stories absolutely full of it, right? And I will say, because it's only there for 24 hours, you can be a little bit more salesy there, right? Maybe you don't want all that stuff like literally taking up your news feed because you want to get more in depth or in detailed and tell a story and really do that value power post like we've talked about. But in your stories, people are consuming short content, right? So now you've got to figure out how to tell a story in a clip, right? Yes, mostly Facebook. Me too. Me too. I'm trying to make the switch and expand, but I feel you. So you can be a little bit more salesy. It's only there for 24 hours, but you've still got to learn to tell the story. Here's why. All right, if you're building on Facebook, it doesn't matter if you are like on your fan page or your personal page, your friends or people that like your page are only going to see that, right? When you post in your stories, they're public. So anyone scrolling can do that. And people are hanging out more in stories. They're just scrolling through people's stories. Why? Because it's like mini video clips. So, and I'm getting better at this, so I'm not claiming to be, but it's working well for me. So I'll share what's working well for me. All right, first off, if you're looking for content, don't just make it about your product or your service, right? So I was going to say this person, but it's my sister. She's like, I don't like Facebook stories because it's just people trying to sell stuff. So if that is you, and maybe you're guilty of that, and that's cool, right? Learn better, do better. You don't want it to just be spammy, right? You want that, you still want to show your life, show the behind the scenes, add value. Like it has to be interesting. Would you watch you? I mean, that's really what it comes back to. Who are you watching? Pay attention to who you're drawn to. What kind of pictures are they posting? What kind of things are they sharing or showing? And I would say mix it up, just like we've talked about, when you're showing up with content. So for me personally, this is like my little tip I'm going to pass on. Like if you've been posting for a fair amount of time, you know, Facebook has memories, right? I'll go back, and is anybody else just living vicariously through their Facebook memories? I'm like, oh, we went on that trip. Oh, we went and did that, right? So, you know, reuse those. You can either take off, like if it's a quote or something, you can take off the year, like that it was 1 year ago or 2 years ago, and reuse that content, right? Pictures, and then add to it, make it your own. So if it's a quote, you know, go up into stickers or go up and find a GIF, you know, that might be kind of cool to put with it. So there's that. Make a poll, right? Because that means people are going to comment, which is what you want. Now, this was something somebody shared with me. If you are making a poll, try to make it positive and more positive. So for instance, are you a neat freak? Kind of, definitely. Are you working to get healthier? Maybe, absolutely. Like, right? Like, make that answer for that poll like yes or hell yes, right? Because you don't really want the other. And then the cool thing about it is everything that you are posting into stories is you can see who's on it. You can see who's watching your stories. If they comment, it immediately goes into your inbox. You brand yourself using stories. Exactly. So it's not about your products. But I will go back to saying this. Remember when I said like you can absolutely pitch your stuff more there? You can, but you still want it to be tell a story. All right. So let's say you have weight loss. All right. And that's a product that you have. You might start with showing a picture, a fun picture of summer. Like, all right, what excites you most about summer? They don't have to think anything. There's no pressure. You're pulling them in, right? You're telling that quick clip story. And, you know, maybe they comment, maybe they don't. What's the number one struggle that you have with your weight loss? Moving, nutrition, energy, you know, whatever. And you put like different 3. Now, if they comment, right, it goes to your messenger, right? I'm convinced money is in the messenger. So you want to get those conversations going so you can get those connections. So if you're posting something and you're just saying, oh, I have a weight loss product, like they're just going to clip right on through, right? Even if they're watching your stories. Or how many of you have watched, how many people watch? There'll be like 100 and something on your first couple clips and then all of a sudden 50 and then 40. Now they do move through the day, right? Before they delete. So you will get more eyeballs there, but pay attention to the ones that are crickets, just like your post. So if you're asking a question where there's no pressure, energy, you know, what are you struggling with? And you just have those, you haven't shown anything else. If they do comment, whichever one it is, then you can kind of have that conversation. You know, I'm curious, well, what do you do when you need energy? Do you have like the chemical monster drinks? You know, would you be open to, you know, a clean energy drink? Yes or no? And there's no pressure there. But as you go throughout, my suggestion is always to give a free option, a free value. So like, for instance, if exercise is a struggle, you might post an at-home 10-minute workout, right? Doesn't cost them anything. They haven't bought anything. But if you're really wanting to get going, here is, you know, do you want deets on my free, you know, 30-day lose weight, blah, 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 right? There again, you're like, interested, if it's a poll, hell yeah, right? So they might just be interested and they're kind of telling you that up front and that's an option. If the answer is no, you don't need that on your poll, right? Does that make sense? You would just say, I'm kind of interested, I want some details, and I've had people do that. Or they're gonna be like, hell yeah, I want in. And those are the people you're gonna get right back to. Does that make sense? So the first one is like, okay, summer, you know, we got extra weight, whatever. Are you interested? Which one of these do you struggle with? Forgot to turn my alerts off. And here's a free option if you struggle with this. Here's a free option if you struggle with this. Here's a free option if you struggle with this. If you want more than that, here's an option, by the way, that I'm offering. Yes, right? Is that valuable? Do you see how that's so much more, you're going to pull them in, right? Now they're invested. They're like, well, dang, she already gave me this one and this one and this one. But now I'm kind of wanting to join this group, so maybe I'm interested. Yes, so I do archive some of mine, but I do try to message the day of, yes. So especially if it's a poll where you are pitching, don't do a sales, I call them a sales story, like every single day. So maybe like a couple of times a week. I do know people that are slamming them like every day, and they're doing it correctly and they're doing great. For me, I just didn't want to lead that much with it. I'm thinking, you know, they know where I'm at. So a couple of times a week, you chuck those stories in there, but make sure that you're telling a story. So what else fits in the story? Does, you know, a music fit in the story? That would be interesting. Think about it from a viewer's standpoint of watching. Do you just want to see a bunch of 30% off, flash sale today? Like, one in there is fine, but you still have got to put it in the story. And the last thing, and I was just talking about this with a couple of mamas this week, and they're amazing at crushing their business, but they're on vacation. And they're like, I just can't get on there. So I would say take a bunch of pics, like, you know, food, like whatever it is that your content pillars are, right? So mine are health and fitness, and, you know, that's my life anyway, my kids, like that kind of thing. But you don't have to post them right then. What you'd ideally like to do is post them throughout the day, only into your stories, so that you've got plenty of content and things to add. I also keep a folder for like just fun stuff, like funny for Fridays, right? Monday motivation, maybe you use that. And so people will come back to you because they know you're gonna have a good quote. And it's not all you're about, right? Because you've mixed it in with your life and these other things. So you've got a quote here, and you've got family pics here, and you've got maybe some nutrition, and you've got that free advice that you're constantly. So my tip is constantly try to give something that's valuable for them. Because what if they get sick of like looking at my food pics or my workout pics, right? Like I've seen fitness gurus and all they do is post, and I find that boring. So if I find that boring, how many other people? And it's not that I'm not interested, I just don't want to only see that. It's only one-sided. And this was a big mind-blowing for me. It was like, I'm thinking if it's business, especially on a business page, like it's got to only be that. But people are interested in people. So you've got to mix it up, but it doesn't mean that you have to constantly be searching for that content. Keep a folder that you've got of some of your pics, of some of your dinners, whatever it is that you're posting about, right? Your content that you're offering. Keep some of those free workouts, right? Thanks for the love, you guys. Hey, if you're just hopping on, let me know where you're tuning in from, and I want to know what the weather's like. Is it as hot here, there as it is here? We are triple digits. So take those pics and keep them for later, and then when you are, share them as a story. Is that helpful? Because I feel like so many people that I'm talking to are struggling with the content on what to put into their story, and they're just throwing it in there, right? Like maybe, and I used to do this when it was posting, it was like, just get something up there. But you want it to be effective because publicly it can be seen, right? Thanks for the love, you guys. Appreciate it. So I hope you guys find that helpful. You know, be relatable. Share all points of your life the same as you do when you're thinking of your content. Stick to those same things. You can be a little bit more salesy, but just make sure that it's in a story. And my opinion would be to add free value within there. Yes? Oh, thanks, guys. I'm so glad you guys are getting value from this. All right? So give a free example, and then don't be afraid to ask for the offer. Right? But use curiosity, use that attraction. And this is key. If you do it right, one post will change it. One stories will change it. Get their attention, tell a story, create curiosity, and then go, hey, do you want the deets for my like thing that I use? Yes or no, right? Or don't even say yes or no, right? Yes or hell yes, right? Positive and positive, positive and more positive. Right? Use those polls, because if they answer your polls, now you've got a lead, right? And it doesn't even have to be a friend. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Like, comment, please share this if you know someone that's really struggling with their stories, or because it seems to be the topic. And I think you're missing the boat if you're not using them to effectively build, because anyone that's seeing it, you can see. Anyone that's commenting on it, you're already in Messenger. Anyone that's interested, you can have that poll where they're, you know, offered. If you have a free value Facebook group, you could put that in your stories often, right? You're offering free value. You're moving them through your funnel from your Facebook story into maybe your Facebook group. So, you know, make sure that you're keeping that in mind as you're moving them through, because that is the option. It's not just to post something, just to post it. Oh, thanks for the love. And it's not just to throw something up there to throw something up there. You want to be intentional with how you're building your stories out as a story, right? Pun intended. All right, you guys, that's all I've got. I'm so glad you found that helpful. Please like, comment, share this with someone if you know this will be helpful in building those stories and creating that content. You guys have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you guys for Made for More Monday. All right, have a great week. Crush it.